Hello and welcome back to the Star Wars Guys YouTube channel where the Force is family. I am Master Paul. We are back with some Skyrim, and let's have some fun tonight. So, I had to unfortunately start yet again. I know y'all are tired of this. Had to start another character because... oh, and Phil is in here now. What's up?
Who you calling Phil, boy?
Oh, it's Crit. What's up?
Who you calling Phil?
Admittedly, you sounded a little bit like Phil, mumbling in the background like that.
I sound like Phil. Yeah.
So,
you treat the elders not that well.
go cry about it.
Buster Bar.
Yep, Buster Bars. Gotta love them Buster Bars. So yeah, we had a great discussion earlier tonight on TNT, and sure, the episodes may have been kind of lackluster this time around, but the discussion was still good, as always. And Phil with his fake southern accent, darned Yankee. He is a Yankee, he's just not willing to admit it. Because I don't remember seeing, because I don't think Delaware fought for the South in the Civil War, but that's a discussion for another time. So, Crit, I believe... So, couple things we got coming up on the channel. I decided this week that we're going to double up on the animation stuff. So Thursday we're going to talk the second half of Clone Wars Season 6. Friday we're going to get back into Teen Titans. Let's do another Godzilla stream on this coming Sunday, Crit. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Approach, my child, and choose where your new life shall begin.
So... Did we decide last time what movies we wanted to look at, or not?
Which ones do you want to do? Showa or Millennium?
Let's finish the Showa era completely before we get into the Millennium era.
Okay.
Nope, we are not starting here because I do not want to be responsible for having to fight off vampires from a young girl, so we are not starting there. And Phil is in the chat saying, "Oh, now you're playing Skyrim." Yep, and
he's
in the VC.
Yeah. Thank you for ruining that for me.
He's a Seamus one. He never checks his VC.
Yes, I did.
I have to resort to going into YouTube chat to get his attention.
And hello in the chat to Leia Rose also. Thanks for joining.
Good morning. Oh.
Okay, there we go. So, Phil, what did you think of tonight's TNT discussion?
It was interesting.
Yeah? I'm glad that you liked the scary picture of me.
That was scary.
I play it up as a joke now and I laugh at it, but I was legit disturbed when you sent that to me, Crit. Literally all of them are disturbing. And I gotta wonder why. Why do you want to make me into a horror icon?
Well, no. Who knows?
Okay, I trust you.
So you
Well,
DM.
see that's the first mistake. You put your trust in them. There you
Please,
go.
Phil, if there's anyone that's lost my trust, it's you, and you know what you did.
What did I do?
You made me watch Caddyshack 2.
Look, every person in the world should experience things on their own.
No,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
People should listen to their friends when they know more about things
Oh,
like that.
now he's using that as an excuse. Now he's listening. Oh, I'm listening to my friend.
I am listening to my friends.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I listened
Are
to
you
you, and here
positive
I am
about that?
playing Skyrim.
It's about damn time.
In a minute, I'm gonna need a sentimental way to shut that song up. You guys would get it if you followed TikTok. But anyways, Ghost Rider saying, real quick, historically speaking, Delaware was a border state that was occupied by the Union prior to secession, like West Virginia, Maryland, and Kentucky. Had the South won, Delaware would have been in the South. You're still a Yankee,
Was
Phil.
never occupied. It was never occupied.
You're
It
whatever.
was-
You're still a
never
Yankee. Get over it.
Yeah.
And by the way, just so you know,
Cash
This-
Money. I got a joke for you.
oh, Cash
Better
showed
than
up.
better than that video I showed you today. Are you ready for it, Cash Money?
Go ahead.
All right, here it is. Paul says he listens to his friend.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
By the way, this particular game we're cheating. We're gonna cheat the absolute crap out of this game just for fun.
On easy mode.
Yes, with plot armor.
Why did you tell me to come in here, Crit? I'm just kidding.
But for real though, how you doing tonight, Cash?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Good.
I'm sending you something, Cash. I can't.
Oh no.
Spot the difference.
What
Spot
did
the
did you send this in the chaos chat or
No,
or just to him?
I can only send. I'm only sending it. It has nothing to do with you, Paul.
Okay. Because if it was going to be another disturbing picture of Cash, I wanted to see it.
No. I showed Cash all his portraits.
Did you do
Well, some of
another
those were amazing.
Klingon?
No, his favorite was The Simpsons, I guess. So.
Ah,
Da, 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 da. The show needs to be canceled. Da, 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 da. The show.
I'm okay with that.
sadly, they're never going to do that.
No, they will. It's just gonna go a few more years. A few more seasons.
So, Cash, did you... I know you weren't there tonight because you had things going, but, did you get to watch any of the Star Trek stuff?
Not all of it, no.
Okay, what all were you
Oh,
able to
okay.
see?
Did I watch any of the Star Trek? Oh, yeah, I think I watched the TNG episode.
Okay.
I haven't watched the 3 TNG episodes. I think I watched those with Crit, if I remember.
Okay.
Didn't we watch those, Crit?
Well, whichever episodes you did watch, would you like to talk about them?
What were the 3?
So in TNG, it was lessons.
Oh yeah,
Um,
lessons.
Crap, I can't
yeah.
remember. then the one where they're solving the genetic puzzle. I literally just said it, and I can't remember the name. But that one was forgettable, anyways.
The one Frame of Mind, I think it's in that
Oh, yeah.
list too.
Yes.
Yeah, that I've watched that episode before, but it's been a while. It's a very trippy episode. But
Greetings, mortals.
I take it that's Ghost Rider.
It is I.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm just on my lunch break, coming to hang out. I got a few minutes, so I was like, hey, why not?
Awesome. Thanks. Well, thank you for popping in and joining with us, man. So, and yeah, I get it now.
Phil, I tried to help you out. I offered you my hand, and you slapped it away. So you know what? From now on, no more help. You're a damn Yankee.
You just
There you
said
go.
a no word. Yes, you did. It's true. But anyways,
Very sorry.
it's all right. I now get it now why you like that one line in DS9 so much. You hit me. Picard would never hit me. I'm not Picard.
It was said more condescendingly, like I'm not Picard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that.
Which honestly, there were a lot of like, I think prior to DS9, there was a lot of people like, oh, I hope he's as good as Picard, and they were comparing him to like the new captain to Picard, like they did with between Picard and Kirk, and they didn't want to. They wanted to show the fans like, hey, this is not Picard. This is a new captain, and I mean, there you go. The Cisco.
Yeah, that
My
definitely
favorite
makes
stuff.
sense. But I still had a bit of a problem with that episode because it felt like John Delancey was kind of phoning his performance in a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's not my favorite Deep Space Nine episode. It's definitely it's just my favorite Q moment. You know?
Right. I'm not sure what my favorite Q moments would be. I'd really have to think about that one.
Oh, just wait till you get to Voyager.
Oh?
Oh yeah. He is active in Voyager at least as much as he was in TNG.
I did have admittedly one aspect of Voyager spoiled for me involving Q, where somehow he actually brings Riker aboard Voyager to talk with Janeway.
Yes, I remember that episode.
So I'm not upset that I got spoiled on it. If anything, it makes me look forward to seeing more about how it happens and basically what happens within it. Oh, by the way,
I mean, Voyager. Go ahead.
By the way, Ghost Rider, I wanted to wish you and your glorified cult that is a military branch an early happy birthday.
How
How are you going to be celebrating?
I'll probably be working because it's what? Wait, the 10th is Thursday, right?
Yeah.
If it's Thursday, then I will be getting trashed, my friend. After
Yeah.
work, of course. So I won't get to celebrate until, Veterans Day. But you know what? That's okay. Because I'm just going to be getting trashed from the time I get off work all the way through Friday.
And you know what? If your liver can take it, Godspeed.
I'm a jarhead, son.
I believe you. And so is Arlena, so I gotta make sure I wish her a happy Marine Corps birthday.
Yeah. I gotta talk to her too. But anyway, back to Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. Drop my earpiece.
I was wondering what that rattling was. So, we're about. So, what did you think, Ghost Rider, of the episode where they get that sickness and start saying just random stuff?
That was Babel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I loved that one. That was so great.
Okay. It the sickness itself was kind of cheesy, but I did like the interactions between Quark and Odo in that one. In fact, Quark and
And
Odo,
that is why I loved it. Just because like those two are definitely like they got the frenemy dynamic going, you know?
and because of that, though, they both have now surpassed Dr. Bashir as tied for my favorite characters. I don't believe you ever told me who your favorite character was in Deep Space Nine. Did you, Ghost Rider?
Yes, I
My favorite is the characters.
All of them? I like all of them for various reasons. I like Cisco's my favorite starship captain. You know, I love Quark because there's like he's like the opposite type of bartender that Guinan was. You know, Guinan was like the wise barkeep that you tell your problems to, whereas Quark's the one that usually generally causes the problems and makes your problems worse. Yeah.
And then there's the dynamic between Odo. Odo's just a unique character. Like Odo always like trying to shapeshift and catch Quark doing something shady, and then there's Garrick. Garrick is one of my absolute favorite characters in all of Star Trek, just because he's. I mean, you're not far enough in. He's just the character type that he is. You know, he's always telling everybody exactly what they need to know, but he does it in a way where you have to like decipher his words.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
I think you could use a brand new suit, Ghost Rider. Why don't you come by my shop at this one specific time, and I'll get you a new suit.
Yes, yes, perhaps I shall. And then like Gul Dukat. Have you met Dukat yet?
Yes, he was in Emissary.
Yeah, he was. Okay, so Gul Dukat is up there with Khan as far as my favorite Star Trek villains. You know what I mean? Like, it's between Dukat and Khan as to who takes the favorite spot.
Okay.
And honestly, I think Dukat takes the edge. Just he pulls ahead just slightly more for me, and that's just because he has more screen time than Khan. Even though we got Khan in the Star Trek movies too.
That is true.
You know, but it's just he switches like throughout the series. Gul Dukat you'll see he goes between from being friend to enemy to frenemy to hero to anti-hero. Actually, he's never really a hero. He's definitely more of an anti-hero. But he's all over the map, and he's very much a self-serving type of villain, and I love it. Like every story, the key component to every story is a good villain. You have to have a good villain. The villain is what makes the hero.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm not
So
mistaken, he was kind of another first, if I'm understanding correctly, for Star Trek, because Star Trek never really had an overarching villain for the whole show. It was always villains like per episode. Maybe one or two came back, but it was always one villain per episode. But by the way it sounds, Gul Dukat's in it a lot.
Well, I mean, that's like his sector of space. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
a gull is like a moth to Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So, like, that's his area of space. So he's going to be the Cardassian in charge, dealing with anybody that goes through Deep Space Nine or Tarak Null.
Right.
Yes?
And if I'm not mistaken, the whole premise of the Cardassians in general was pretty much to be the new Klingons as far as a more emotional nemesis for the Federation, because you have the Borg that are all mechanized and unfeeling. And so the Cardassians are supposed to be the opposite of that, almost, right?
Yeah, they are. They're like emotional type warriors, like where Klingons are like honorable. Cardassians would be, I think, like they split the difference between the Klingons and the Romulans.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Romulans are very underhanded and tricksy, and Klingons are in your face. I will break your clavicle just because you looked at me the wrong way.
Yes.
Cardassians are calculated and unmerciful.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, thinking back to the episode Chain of Command, how Gul Madred was handling Picard. That's chilling.
There are 4 lights.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure there's 5.
Cardassian scum.
So this is all these ruins are new. This isn't part of the. Odd.
The house is new. I've
Yeah.
never seen that house before.
This is a modded house I always use, but all these ruins outside the house are never part of it. So.
It's a creepy Adams phone.
Thanks. By the way, wait till you see later on what happens to what I do with Castle Volkihar, because I turned that in pretty much a whole city. Oh, by the way, hello to Daryl the Derelict, who popped into chat saying, Cardassians may be calculating, but Twi'leks are strippers. You're not wrong.
So way off base from what we were talking about.
That is true. By the way, how you doing tonight, Daryl? If you're part of my Discord, you are certainly welcome, dude, to pop in here with me and talk. We're all in here in a gaming stream co-hosted server.
And as far as the counterpart to Twi'leks and Star Wars, I would say the Bajoran women, or even, Orions.
Yes. It's a shame, though, that the only show that we have an actual Orion main character is Lower Decks.
Yeah, the series, Enterprise actually had a really good Orion episode in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think y'all have got to Enterprise. You gotta finish Voyager before you get to Enterprise.
Yeah, we still have a long way to go as far as that goes.
What's happening?
Yeah, I don't want to like spoil it, but there's a really good episode that explains the Orion culture in there. The Orion Syndicate.
Am I?
Yeah,
Which, if you know, the Orions would be like the Hutts.
Need
I could see that.
to sleep.
And then what would you say would be the Star Trek equivalent of the Vulcans? If there even is one.
I don't think there's actually an equivalent. I know the equivalent to Klingons, I think, would be the Zabrak.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. By the way, Daryl says, doing great. Hope you are all well. Just wanted to throw a wrench in your conversation before I bow out. Long day tomorrow, but thank you for the invite. Absolutely, man. And hey, if there's any time that I am streaming that you are available, do not hesitate to pop in here with us. Because you think that conversations on the VacTube get wild. We've had some wild stuff here too, and that's usually the fault of one certain Phil McCracken.
I got about 9 minutes left.
I gotcha.
Any other questions for me while you got me here, Master Paul?
None that I can think of at the moment. Just so far, I'm having fun with Deep Space Nine, but I can also see where Crit's saying that season 1 is easily the weakest season.
I could agree to that.
Because that episode with O'Brien, where he I believe it's something Pursuit, where he comes across that one dude that looks like Reptile from Mortal Kombat saying, "I am Tusk." That episode was kind of dull to me. So, what else is going on lately, man?
Not much. I don't know why nobody else is talking here.
I don't know. Phil's still here.
Expecting me to go somewhere?
No, I have you by a string, Phil. Skyrim, you can't resist.
I just figured he was mad because, you know, I got him with the Yankee. Well, actually, technically, he got himself with that one. I tried to help him. He got himself.
I've called Phil worse things, and he's still around. I've called him an old fart.
Nothing in this world beats calling someone Wesley.
Again,
Wesley.
I don't know who you're calling Wesley.
I'm still searching for that acting ensign uniform for you.
Sure you are.
Gray with the rainbow color.
Are you No, because guess who else wears those colors? Jodie Whittaker.
I have no call on that. I'm just trying to get you an acting ensign Wesley Crusher uniform.
I don't want one. If you're gonna get me any uniform at all that isn't the one that I have, get me I don't know, another TNG uniform, but blue?
No. It's gotta be an acting ensign Wesley Crusher uniform.
I think I'm good. I don't need to do
Yeah,
that.
you can make a video of you burning it.
I could, but I'd rather Phil just save his energy and me save my matches.
But then you don't get the video.
I know. I would find another way to make a video of it.
Need a ride? Where do you want
Yeah, I do need a ride, actually.
Climb and back.
I just realized subtitles ain't turned on. Let me fix that. There we go.
Oh, steady.
I'll be right back. I just need to do a quick restart on my
Go ahead.
computer. I'll be back.
Go ahead.
How do you like the old man?
Old man? You mean Dax?
Jadzia.
I like her. She is definitely a very good-looking woman. But I will say this. I've seen people online slandering Rick Berman and using Deep Space Nine as proof that he over-sexualized a lot of characters, and specifically pointed to the characters on Deep Space Nine for that.
Hold there.
And so far, granted, I'm only 6 episodes in, but so far I don't see it.
There's nothing, like, the closest thing I could say to being, like, sexualized on Deep Space Nine would be the Dabo girls.
voice down.
Yeah,
You want
but
everyone to hear
they're
you?
never the
Let
focus.
you in. Just let you
Although it
in
is
on
getting
the edge.
annoying hearing Dabo every time you go to Quark's Bar, so I would like it if they stopped
Hands
that.
unlocked. Head inside when you're ready.
Well, you kind of tune it out eventually.
True.
But yeah, just I think. Oh wait, no, he hasn't shown up yet.
Who?
Or has he? What episode does he come in on? I don't want to spoil anything for you.
What character is it?
Well, you already got Chief O'Brien
Yeah?
from TNG. There's another character from TNG that pops in on Deep Space Nine.
Worf, I know about that already.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Worf does show up. I don't think he showed up yet, though.
No.
Yeah, I just didn't want to ruin it for you if you didn't.
It's alright. Yeah, I already knew.
The Blackbriars have rifted
Yeah, the dynamic between, like, Worf is one of my all-time favorite Star Trek characters. Like, if not the all-time favorite Star Trek character.
Yeah? I already know that he ends up falling in love with and marrying Jadzia only for Jadzia to die on him. And then she gets reincarnated as Ezri.
Ezri Dax is awesome. Jadzia Dax is. I was salty when that happened, but you know what? It's fine. Like, I like them both. They're like tied as far as like which Dax I like better, but you know.
Understandable.
Just remember, if she tells you to do something, you damn well better do exactly what she says. You're kidding. My brother Dirge works in their hideout. I used to run with them myself.
All right, time for me to go back to work. I will talk to you guys later.
Alright, sounds good.
Find Brynjolf.
Thanks for popping in, man.
I'm sure he can
Yep, take it easy.
No problem. And I believe I am alone in here now.
No, you're not.
There you are, Phil. You got your restart done?
Yep.
Nice.
The only thing I heard is a rumor that a boy named Aventus Aretino.
So, you sent me an audiobook the other day by Tony Iommi.
It's very good.
Yeah,
Worth to listen to. When you have time and you're gonna listen, it's very good. It's not him on actually reading it or reading his book as a voice to it. That's somebody else, but the book, it's done very well.
okay.
Of course, when it's bands, 4 different people, 4 different. Well, in Black Sabbath case, there was more people than just 4, but there's always someone's opinion. You can take a band, stick all the members in a room, and as they come out, ask them a question, and they'll give you 4 different answers.
Right.
So when someone says, well, this person was doing this and this person was doing that, normally it takes 2, or in a band's case, 4 or more believable. It's a little bit more complicated.
I believe
But
it.
it's nice to hear his opinions, though. My experience in reading when it comes to musicians and their bands, you want some craziness, you can read all 4 of the Kiss books by the 4 original members, and you would ask yourself, are you all in the same band? I mean, it's only one I could say is more truthful than the others, because he doesn't just criticize himself and the others, but like I said, he criticizes himself.
Okay.
But as far as when it comes to the other 3,
Let's see who
it was
just popped in here. We have Crit and Cash Money back.
Yes.
Yay! We are back.
Awesome.
But yeah, you would like that Tony Iommi audiobook. I think it's wonderful.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to do the Dio one. I don't have any information on it. You know, was it written with Dio? Was it written with Dio's approval, or was it written after his death? You know.
Who knows? Ooh, what is this?
Well, there is a way to tell. If he, in the book, if he goes off on Vivian Campbell, then you know that's a legitimate Dio book. If he doesn't go off on Vivian Campbell, then no, that's not a Dio.
And hot take, I really don't like Vivian Campbell and the way he plays. That, to me, is the epitome of mindless shredding. More so than Yngwie Malmsteen at his worst.
I don't even know if he's still with Def Leppard.
Vivian Campbell?
Yes.
Hmm.
He went from Dio to White Snake, and he didn't stay long in White Snake. Then he went and ended up in Def Leppard.
Quick question. Did he go to Whitesnake before or after Steve Vai?
Hey, you're not supposed to be
After Steve Vai.
Official business only.
That's
Steve Vai.
that was a downgrade.
Steve Vai was there for just the one tour and one album, and that's it. More as I don't want to say he wasn't a legitimate Whitesnake member, but I think it was all determined. It was a short-term deal, you know, just so he gets to where he was going.
Right. Yeah.
He wasn't going to be in. He wasn't going to be in Whitesnake. That was a given.
Yeah. He's better on his own. Just like Dio's at its best on his own. Although his stuff with Rainbow, actually his stuff with specifically the Heaven and Hell album, Black Sabbath Heaven and Hell, not the 2008 one, but that one, the one that the song comes from, that's one of his best. And he said that particular album's his favorite.
Yep. I believe it. I mean, that was a great album. That's him with all, you know, with the legit Black Sabbath. Well, I don't mean to be putting down other people, but you got Bill Ward, you got Geezy Butler, and you have Iommi. And after that album, Ward leaves.
Yeah, and then Vinny Appice comes in.
Yep, which I do like. I love Vinny Appice. Even though his brother used the same last name and it's not Appice, he says Peace. So, Carmen is Carmen Appice, Vinny Appice. Now they're brothers. They just say the last name differently. But the only time you get them three again is Born Again. Someday you'll have to listen to that. That's with Ann Gillan from Deep Purple singing.
I'm not the biggest fan of Ian Gillan.
I know. A lot of people don't like
he's good at what he does, don't get me wrong. But compared to other singers that sing his style, he's kind of boring.
Gotcha. I mean, there's a lot of people that would take him still to this day of David Coverdale over him in Deep Purple. And I would say, depending on the time and mood, I lean a little bit, not by much, a little bit more to David Coverdale in Deep Purple than in Gillan.
And then of course there's Glenn Hughes. Throw Glenn Hughes in the mix also. Yeah,
but unfortunately, that tour thing, you know, that was a disaster. The tour manager punches him in the nose, breaks his nose, causing him unable to sing. But he was so high on drugs at that time. If you ever see a video on YouTube of him singing during that,
I did.
Yeah,
he's literally croaking through heaven and hell.
Yeah. And I understand why they had to replace him during that tour because you
with
can't.
with someone that had AIDS.
I think his name was
It was
Ray Gillen.
Ray Gillen.
Yeah.
Any relation to Ian Gillen?
No.
Hmm.
But the man that did more albums than anybody in Black Sabbath
Tony
is
Martin.
Tony Martin.
If you're ever in the
I like his singing, but I really would have wished Tony Iommi would have came up with a different name and be a totally different band than Black
Yes.
Sabbath.
Well, then, by that same logic, after Lemmy lost Fast Eddie Clark and Filthy Animal Taylor, by your logic, he should have changed the band from Motorhead.
No, because here's the thing: when you change a singer, and I know it's happened a lot. Sometimes when you change the singer, you change the band dramatically. AC/DC managed to do it, but you know they didn't have a choice. The singer died.
Or you know, the difference between Van Halen and Van Hagar.
Yep. I leaned more to. I like both versions. I did not like, and we will never mention Van Halen 3. That will never be mentioned.
Why?
It has the singer from what was that band?
Is there some way I can assist you?
The people that did that song More Than Words. I can't think of the name of them right now.
I can't think of it either.
But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a mistake, and I think that kind of like the same thing like Motley Crue did with John Corabi. Nothing against them, but it's sometimes, you know, Van Halen. Okay, Sammy Hagar was a known person, and they come out with some good stuff, though. You know. But some bands, when you change the lead singer, yeah, you actually change the band. And if you notice in the late 90s and early 2000s, bands start getting people that can actually, if they're replacing them, trying to get somebody that sounds exactly
hold on
like
a second, though. I can give you two examples of a band getting a new singer, and the band, well, one example where the band doesn't change, but another example where the band does, but it's still good. So, I showed you my favorite Christian rock band ever, Petra, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They actually got started, and my friend Ian, the headless guitarist, he'll back me up on this because he's the one who turned me on to the band. They actually started in '73, and their lead guitarist, Bob Hartman, was the singer at one point, but he's just okay. He's a better backup singer than he is a lead singer. And he only did that for their first album and a little bit of the second. On the second album, they hired a bunch of other singers to sing the tracks, including one man by the name of Gregory Xavier Voles, or Greg X Voles for short. And he did so well, they pretty much hired him as their permanent lead singer from I believe 1977 all the way to 1985 when he decided to leave and pursue a solo career. When he left... Now, actually, let me back up. When Greg Voles was in Petra, they had a specific sound. It for sure was not metal. It was more synth rock, which, you know, whether that's for you or not is honestly up to you. But then, in 1985, he leaves, wants to pursue a solo career, and they replace him with the former lead singer of Head East, John Schlitz. And that and over time, between the album Back to the Streets and Beyond Belief, their sound slowly starts to morph from synth rock to arena rock, and it is an amazing transformation to witness.
Marvelous.
And then the other example is the band Dragon Force, the band that did Through the Fire and Flames. They started with the vocalist, I don't know what his full name is, but he goes by ZP. But he started having vocal problems live, most likely due to his smoking habits. And so he leaves, and then in comes Mark Hudson, who is a much better singer. The band still sings the same style, but they have a much, much better singer behind them. Like, I would actually compare it to this. Suppose you had Ian Gillan in Deep Purple, and you swapped out Ian, and then Ian Gillan leaves, and then in comes, say, Dio or Rob Halford, or basically someone who can sing Ian Gillan's style, but twice as good.
I see that. I mean, it happens a lot when you think about it. But for me, sometimes, and you see this epidemic, and there was an epidemic of it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
In the mid '80s into the early '90s, bands make it big, lead singers take off.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
then-
I can do better with a solo career than I could with the regular band.
Yep,
And
that's,
David Lee Roth, that's what he did.
so did Ozzy.
Ozzy did the same. Well, no, Ozzy was pretty much. He was fired in '76, and there was a replacement, but the guy never did anything. And they brought Ozzy back, and then they fired him again. He can say he quit, but he was fired twice. But think of it this way: when you think of, do you like Striper?
I do.
If Mr. Sweet wasn't there and there was another singer, pretty much that would change the whole dynamic of the band.
And it's funny you say that, because that kind of happened in 1992. Michael Sweet left because, of course, you know, Striper being in the 90s, their music was starting to become less and less popular. Not like it was that popular to begin with, as far as, you know, metal is concerned. And of course, Christian people didn't like them that much back then. And so Michael Sweet decided to jump ship, and the guitarist Oz Fox finished out the tour as the lead vocalist. And he is an amazing vocalist in his own right, don't get me wrong, but he's not Michael Sweet.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Amelia.
I mean, there's bands, okay, look at it this way. Genesis. They lose their lead singer,
How are you doing?
and they go, okay, all right, what are we going to do? We'll take our drummer and make him the lead singer.
Phil Collins.
There you I mean, sometimes it is forced upon you. And sometimes we're better. I mean, there's a lot of people that like the original singer. I forget his name. It'll hit me sometime later, but good. And he did have a great solo career. But, man, you know, he did him a favor. Especially Phil Collins, because not just with Genesis, but on his own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it pushed him even further. So, but there are some bands where, you know, they try replacing the lead singer and crash and burn. I think when it comes down to it, you can lose your guitar player, you can lose your bass player, you can even lose your drummer. But that lead singer, sometimes it take when if he leaves,
I'm gonna slightly disagree with you on that. Yes, when the singer leaves, the main sound of the band is changed, but the singer's not the only one where it's like that.
No, but I mean, can you name me a guitarist that left the band and had a great solo career? Better than the band that he left?
Steve Vai.
I'm sorry, if you're telling me that he sold more records outside doing with David Lee Roth, outside of David Lee Roth, and went solo and sold more records than he did with Eat 'Em and Smile, I don't think so. Not saying, forget about how great of a guitar player he is. When it comes down to it, can he sell records on his own and
Yeah,
better than
and
when he left
has.
David Lee Roth?
Here's another one for you, Joe Satriani.
He's a good guitar player, but I doubt. Well,
He's-
he could have been in some great bands, but he
he
chose
sold-
to stay solo.
He sold enough to win Grammys.
Yeah, that I don't put faith into the Grammys. Put faith into how many albums they sell. Eat 'Em and Smile, I think that's what 4 times platinum. I know an album that even went 2 times platinum.
Yeah.
See, that's the difference. You I can understand a person leaving a band, going solo, even if they never make platinum. They only make gold records. Hey, he's in control. He don't have. But my point is, can a person leave a band, go on his own, and do better than what he did in the band? So if you like when they did, and you compare, and I remember that comparison going on all during the summer when Van Halen put 5150 out and Eat 'Em and Smile came out. Both records did great, but they were always comparing the two.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to admit, at first, it looked like David Lee Roth was in a better position than Van Halen. But Steve Vai couldn't deal with it. The bass player, who was a great bass player, I can't think of his name right now. And basically, the drummer, all three, eventually leave within a period of 3 years.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at that point, Van Hagar is in the charts.
It's quite beautiful here.
Not to mention, Steve Vai was with David Lee Roth after he
Where I
was
come
with
from,
Alcatraz,
the trees
so he
grow
already
in
had
light,
somewhat big
and each
experience
one
throughout.
has a spirit
No,
of
not
their
just
own.
Alcatraz. He was
Here,
also with
the trees
Zappa.
are all stunted.
He was
no
known,
souls at all.
and that was a smart move when
The autumn colours are
David
the
Lee
same,
Roth
though.
put his solo band together.
Valenwood, all the
He
way to
picked
the
out
south.
3 of the best
What
you
about
can
you?
probably find out
Are you
there.
from here?
I can't think of the bass player, but the bass player went on and left David Lee Roth and came out with Mr. Big.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Do you know
Oh,
Skyrim very well?
Billy Sheehan.
Billy Sheen.
If you say Staunton, I'm saying Sheehan.
No, it's Sheen.
Is that so?
Sheehan.
And it
I
is
suppose
Staunton.
you're
It has a
traveling
U.
companion,
Pronounced
right?
the U.
I could
Sheehan
use
has an
someone to show
H.
me around this
Pronounce the
cold
H.
afternoon.
No.
I'm a very good
You're not.
actor, too.
You're not going to get me to
So I
break
can
this
meet your work in
stalemate.
return.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Sheen.
Excellent. I'm
Sheehan,
looking forward to it.
and it's Stanton.
What?
Staunton.
Lead on.
You say potato, I say potato.
Yes?
Exactly. So back to what we were saying though before we had that little mini argument.
I'm Ari.
So
I suppose you and I will both be looking after our mutual friend from now on, huh?
let me talk to you about this though.
Looking after.
Looking back though at the actual band that the guitarist leaves.
That's what I do.
What my original point that I was trying to make is
Yes?
the band that the guitarist leaves can survive and still do good with a new guitarist.
Yeah, I mean, Deep Purple survived Richie Blackmore leaving twice.
Yeah.
And Richie Blackmore, even though he had great success with
Worry not,
Rainbow.
new friend.
He went and did Blackmore's Night.
Yep. But he still, I would say, if you compare the album sales between Deep Purple at the same time as Rainbow, even with Dio, the edge you have to still give to Deep Purple. You know, not that their albums didn't sell great. Rainbow albums did sell. But if you look at what they put out, if you go back to like 75, when Rainbow put out Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, and then you look at Deep Purple, and I think it's Stormbringer. I think Stormbringer went double platinum, and I think Richie Blackmore went platinum with his first solo album.
Right.
Which is good. That's still a success, but you always wanted to be better. I mean,
well,
for a guitar player to leave a band and go to another band and start from scratch, not being picked up by another known band. I'm saying a guitar player like Richie Blackmore leaves Deep Purple. You have to and starts a new band, and it becomes a success. That's something. But that's harder for a guitar player. You got to find the singer. But the singer and finding a singer, even though it was, there was a lot more singers available at that time. I'm not saying they're not now, but it's hard to pick a winner.
Okay, how about this one for you? And set aside any personal feelings you may have for this man. How about Yngwie Malmsteen? He's had a successful career by himself since he left Steeler and Alcatraz.
He has, even though he is his own worst enemy.
Yeah, that much I will agree with you on. I've never disagreed with you that he's not a nice person.
You know, I mean, think of it this way. You would question and say, you know, another band like Deep Purple, Whitesnake, how come they never said, "Oh, we got an opening, Mr. Malmsteen, would you want to take the spot?" Even if he would have said no, I'm better on my own.
Mm-hmm.
It would never happen because I don't think nobody would offer him that position.
Oh yeah,
Knowing his reputation.
I saw an
I'm going
interview
by
once that Don Dokken did once, I believe in 2008, where they outright called him a punk.
I mean, sometimes by reputation alone, and there's times like, look at it this way. I remember when the Cult opened up for Guns N' Roses.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the Cult's a lot older band, a better band than Guns N' Roses, in my opinion. Not saying by sales and popularity I would lose that argument, but in my opinion, the music was better. But they go on tour, they ditched Guns N' Roses ditched their original drummer. And guess what? They steal the Colts drummer. If you look that up, yeah, it's an interesting story. I think they got kicked off the tour after that.
Wow.
So, yeah. Guns N' Roses, yeah, that's another, people come and go in that band.
There is one thing that kills Guns N' Roses completely for me, and that is Axl Rose's voice. I'm not kidding when I would say, at this point, I would rather listen to Ozzy and Dave Mustaine, and I'm even going to say Brian Johnson in there, than I'd rather listen to Axl Rose.
You notice the people that would sing the high notes and really try to bust the song out there with their voice? One, they're not doing that anymore. And two, if they still kept it up for years and years, their voice is shot.
They've down-tuned to accommodate their new song, their new stuff. Even the people who have fared better in recent years as far as that stuff goes, like Michael Sweet, his voice is still very much intact, but even he doesn't go as high anymore, and their songs are down-tuned a half step.
I mean, think it this way. You look at Motley Crue, their singer. He doesn't have a voice. His voice is gone. And okay, that's pretty sad because yeah, they're in their 50s and everything. But then you get somebody, and yeah, his voice is shot, and I will admit the voice in tracking. But up until about 10 years ago, before that, Paul Stanley was singing it like his butt off, like 200 shows a year, and not stopped since '73. Now think about that. Did not stop.
And that's impressive.
But it ended up killing his voice. And then there's the people that say, okay, Glenn Hughes, you know how old he is, but he was not always the lead singer.
No.
And there was a lot of periods of time because he was on drugs so bad, he didn't do anything. So yes, his voice should be in a lot better position to do it, But you get a singer like Ann Gillan who's still singing, actually singing, not voice tracking. But you see, he does not do the loud screeching. Rob Halford, he's still singing, but you notice he cut back on the screeching. There's no point.
And then you have, and I say this as a fan of the dude, you have the people that still attempt it, but you can tell that they just can't, but they try anyway. Like Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, don't do it. It's no point in doing it.
And again,
You know, there's reasons opera singers, you know, they don't do it. Very rarely do you see an opera singer still doing his high pitch in like 20 years. You know, they don't.
Mhm.
The voice gets shot. You either hear them go to a different tone, you know, most of the time lower, because that high screeching, your vocal cords, over age and over time, your voice changes.
You're right.
You know, so some singers, that's why I say some singers, you know, and I guess that's why sometimes they leave to do a solo, is because they know their period of time in the light is very, how can you put it, limited. Guitarists don't really have to, very rarely, except you got a disease or death or injury.
Well,
Uh,
that's not. It's there's also another factor in that too, and that's arthritis. That
yeah,
will slow a guitarist down.
but I'll put that under illness. So, but yeah, I mean, there's some of them guitar players, they're still going strong. You know, they can do it longer. Bass players, bass players, I don't want to downgrade bass players, but it's not as hard as
Can't wait to
playing
get
lead
another
or
load
rhythm
of this
guitar.
voice.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
bass players, what you got? Four strings. That's it.
Sometimes 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
And
Phil,
I
you're going
mean,
to be very proud of me because I rescued Hadvar.
oh, I'm so proud of you. But and then there's keyboards. You know,
Looks
yeah.
like he's gone
I
for
think
good this time.
keyboards are making a comeback with a lot of bands because they have to fill in the spot for a lot of older singers. Look,
My uncle's the blacksmith.
they may not show them on stage, but there's always a keyboardist somewhere around. Steven Tyler, you know, Aerosmith,
Mm-hmm.
some of these other people, you need the keyboard sound to back up the singer. You know,
I
you might
believe
not
it.
believe that helps, but it does help them.
I believe it. And bonus points if the singer is the keyboardist.
Yep. I mean, we lost some people today in music. We lost one of the original members of Alabama.
I saw that.
I
You
love
posted
Alabama.
that.
True country music
Oh, yeah.
band.
Fair. And
And somebody else passed away. I forget who.
are Crit and Cash
They
still
get
here?
somebody from Foreigner. It's one of the a person that Foreigner had different lead singers, but one of the former lead singers passed away today.
I see.
I'm still around. I don't know about Chris.
There you are, Cash.
It's okay, Cash. I know you're getting ready to be going into a rage when the steel kicks on in about an hour or two.
We don't talk about that right now.
What?
You don't know
Steel?
about you don't know what type of steel I'm talking about.
Huh?
It's given what day it is, it's pretty obvious.
The fix is in.
Today's the day that you drive down the road and you see some crazy lady in the middle of the road, and
First you start talking about steel, then you talk about that crazy lady. That crazy lady was on some serious drugs.
I think she's the perfect lady for you, Phil. I'd
yeah,
speak at your wedding.
no, I could see it now. How did you meet? How did you meet your soon-to-be wife? I was driving down the road and I found her in the middle of the street. At that point, you rather have run over some roadkill and picked that up and throw it in the back of your truck.
She's already mine.
Yeah.
Truly. So maybe my mother isn't crazy
I
after all.
think the Jarl will believe us about the dragon.
I would say at this point that I have seen it all, but I'm sure I haven't yet.
That armor looks like it could use a polish.
So does your pitch, boy.
A new day stretches before us. Let us not waste it, my friend.
Ugh. Ugh.
You alright, Crit?
So when did you change your hair color back to the dark red instead of the light
I made
sharper?
I made this particular character like this because honestly, if I'm gonna go red, I'm gonna go all the way red.
So it isn't about just triggering cash money. You want to cash money to go into like what are them epileptic seizures when you seize it?
I've already caused Cash to do that the moment he saw Crit's disturbing picture of me. Seriously, Cash, Pacific's live reaction to it was priceless.
Them pictures were hard.
Yes, they were.
What, your pictures?
Yeah.
Well, that's taken care of. No thanks to
Okay, I don't know what mod you're using to change Ayla to look like that, but that is a great mod with her.
Thank you. Thank you.
Looks a lot better than what we
Certainly
got
not.
with
But
the
a true
original.
warrior would
I
have
agree.
relished the opportunity to take on a giant. That's why I'm here with my shield brothers.
Does this mods feel a lot more stable than the ones you used previously?
Oh yeah, I am
An
100%
outsider, eh? Never heard
satisfied
of the
with
companions?
this.
An order of warriors.
Well, I take it back.
We are
There's
brothers
one
and sisters
minor
in
mod
honor.
that's missing,
And we show up
but
to
it
solve
won't. But I know for a
problems if the
fact it
coin
won't
is good
upset
enough.
any sort of balance. So overall, I am satisfied
Not
with
for me
this
to
mod
say.
outlook.
You'll have to talk to Codlac White.
So this might be the one that you can actually carry straight through to endgame.
He can look in
Yeah.
your eyes and tell you.
Okay, but here's the
If
question.
you go
Why
first,
is your
good luck.
Inigo so dark?
That's because in general my game's atmosphere is darker. But he's really not. See, he was just kind of
I
standing in
don't
the.
know about him, man.
How can I help?
He's a killer.
He was just kind of standing in the shadow. But yeah, in general, because I've started using an E and B, my game looks darker, especially at night.
Well, they have buildings off to the left, which they never had before.
It's true. A jester,
Yeah?
funny suit and
What
all.
is that?
Just
I mean,
north by
just
the
curious
glorious
what that building was.
who had a coffin and a broken wheel. Like
Is it part of this?
Maiden
Oh,
Manor.
no,
It's
it
a
must be
house.
new.
So Phil, I need your opinion on something that Crit has kind of given me crap for, and I need you to be the voice of reason here. So the other night, as I was getting my mods ready for this game, Cash and Crit were watching, and so I decided to tune in for a little bit and see whether or not I like it, because I had never seen the movie before. Then the bad guy shows up, and is somehow able to summon personifications of the 7 deadly sins, and they look exactly how you'd expect. And I said, nope, I'm done watching this. Do you think I was overreacting, or what?
I think, personally, if you're able to separate a movie from reality, watch the movie. If you can't separate the movie from reality, then don't. I mean,
Alright.
think it this way: can you watch Peter Cushing and the guy who played Count Dooku?
Christopher Lee?
And in one of them the vampire movies, Dracula.
Well, I've never seen it, but I'd be willing to give it a try.
Okay.
I mean, I'm playing a vampire right now.
You know, there you go. You're playing a vampire, and you're able to play it as a vampire, bite people, and do
Yeah,
things.
but here's my issue with it. Here's my issue with it. And of course, Crit, if you're still in VC, feel free to chime in if you need to. The fact that they are specifically called the 7 deadly sins leaves very little room in my mind for we'll say artistic license or reinterpretation, whatever term you think would fit best there.
Got something for just about everybody in here. Give a holler if you have any questions.
I understand what you mean by it, but again, I will tell you, if you're able to separate it
Lead the way.
and know that this is entertainment as opposed to reality. I mean, did you watch The Passion of the Christ?
No.
You didn't see it, okay.
And honestly,
Hello.
I really can't.
How my heart soars to look
I
upon
understand.
Well,
sheerly for how gory it is.
Well, Paul, you didn't watch the whole movie. You joined in like
I know.
Halfway through, so you missed the context. Those were just monsters that the wizard had contained. There was no indication at all that they were, as you say, biblical. To me, they were just CGI monsters. It's the same. It's the same thing in It's the same thing in Black Adam. This villain goes to. You could say. Actually, no, I'm not going to spoil that movie. To me, I think I would. To me, Paul, I don't want to I don't criticize people's beliefs, but me. I felt you kind of overreacting because you didn't see the beginning of the movie, and I don't know, but I think you need to. Sometimes you should just separate reality from because to me those were just more CGI monsters. They weren't actual Were they personifications of the seven deadly sins? Yes, but they weren't they were just monsters, CGI monsters, not real. Controlled by a wizard. There's wizards.
And to be technically, the seven deadly sins aren't like they're living things or beings or anything like that. They're just sins. You know, they can't take a persona of anything. So to me that's already in the land of make believe. So yeah. Seven deadly sins, do they exist as sins? Yes. But it isn't like they're beings or monsters to begin with. I mean, it's like the equivalent of giving life to the 10 Commandments. You obey them, you know them, but they don't have a spirit or how can I put it? Life of their own. You know?
All right, that makes sense then, I guess.
Yeah, I don't want to criticize you, Paul, but when you left, because you were enjoying the movie so far, but then it got to that part, and nope, I'm out, and me and Cash were like, what?
All right, I'll give it another try. In fact, let's make it the subject of a stream. Let's make it the subject of a stream coming up.
And we will have Phil.
You know, there's two movies of The Last Dracula. There was a Bram Stoker's and the one guy that played from he was in what do they call it? The Hobbits. The Bard, the Bardsman. He plays Dracula. There are some images in there you would say borderline, but what I would always say, no matter what, you can separate it. You know, you see Frankenstein, he's a monster, okay, but it isn't like it's a monster that is, you know, or being. None of it's real. It's all make believe. You know, to call it a demon, to call it evil, okay, but like I said, some people can't separate. Look, you know, you have some people that actually think they are vampires. More power to them. I don't think anybody here is believing they're a vampire and is going to want to come bite on my neck. You know,
nah.
Not that I will let anybody anyway. But there's some people out there, you know. believe it or not, there's some people out there that actually think they're Jedi Knights, and
I
they
know,
got
and
real
and,
lightsabers.
and they got a real religion around it too. Look it up.
Yeah.
It's real.
I know. Like I said, I
Treated
like
similarly to
anything in entertainment. When like I see Skyrim, it's entertainment. It's not life. Going into a world and doing things.
If you have need of hunting,
Let me.
There does come times where you think sometimes people go overboard. Like, I don't like. There's some movies that make fun of religion that I just don't like for some reason. It
I'll give you one.
Power to
the one that what's his name? Pacino did. What was it? That one with Keanu Reeves. He plays the son of the devil.
Constantine.
Not Constantine. The movie before that, Al Pacino's in it. He actually, you find out.
You mean The Devil's Advocate?
Yeah, yeah. Now I knew some people that liked that movie and they're very religious, but they took it as a movie. But there's one part of the line he puts in there when he starts saying God's an absentee landlord, that type of deal. And, people took offense to it. To me, it's a movie. And if the devil, which I do believe exists, was to appear in that type of form and fashion, that would be something that he would say. Anything to trick you. So, but as to mean that Al Pacino is a devil worshiper, or Al Pacino or that movie intending to be, yeah.
I'll tell you something. My friend was really religious, and his mother never let him watch Harry Potter until he came over. And his mother didn't care by then, but he came over and we watched Harry Potter. And, she had a thing against witchcraft, but see, the Harry Potter witchcraft was make-believe. It was like fantasy. It wasn't like, what typically... never in my mind did I think, the witches and wizards in Harry Potter refer to the Salem witch trials. Like, to me, it was make-believe. It was fantasy. The same like Lord of the Rings and stuff. So when my friend actually laughed when he watched it, and like, well, this isn't what my mom thought it was. This is a cute little kid movie. This is a cute.
I would say for like people that I know, and I know a lot that are in the same place Paul is. Like, I would never suggest a movie like The Omen.
Nope.
No.
Never, or The Exorcist.
Or The Exorcist, no.
Yeah, I already know about that movie. That is a no.
That movie will make it. That movie doesn't make fun of religion. It makes you afraid of it. Like, the devil. Like, that movie, if you saw that, Paul, you would be afraid of...
There is a movie that you would call it horror, which I don't. It's kind of I liked it. The Prophecy with what's his name? The dude that says you need more cowbell. What's his name? Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken.
The Prophecy. First one's great. Second one, Third one, okay. But I liked it, and I especially liked that one of the people in that movie is Hugo Morstein. Aragon. He actually plays the devil and does it well. And he plays the devil like you would expect the devil. And I'm not talking Hollywood devil. Separate.
What?
I don't know if you ever seen The Prophecy, Crit?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I definitely recommend the first one. Second, I mean, if you're gonna watch the series, then you gotta watch all four. But I would definitely say if you ever watch one, the first one, great movie.
What? I would shave the Shazam stream for when we watch Black Adam. So that in a couple months when it comes out on DVD.
Fair enough then.
Paul, did you watch Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
You didn't have a problem with Indiana Jones, the very first movie with the spirits coming out of
no, not at all.
The ark and all that.
We actually talked about on that stream. I said I thought Indiana Jones was humbled before God's presence, which is why he closed his eyes at the end.
Right.
You know, but a lot of people just think, you know, because it was the forces of evil. But I think, you know, there's a lot of theories on that. But it's a movie. I don't look too.
Up because you see the angel of death come, and you see the angel of death start taking people out, and I don't call the angel of death an evil being because it can't be, because that's an angel. We might debate on what angel it is, but the angel of death is sent by God. I mean, he kills all the firstborns in Egypt. You know. See, I don't want to get too deep, but when it comes to like angels, and you've seen in the Indiana Jones, or when you watch, I don't care if you're watching.
I am gonna cover a couple biblical movies for our Christmas stream. You just gotta tell me what your guys' recommendations. We are definitely gonna cover The Prince of Egypt, which I think is one of the best Bible movies ever made.
If you cover The Prince of Egypt, you also have to cover Joseph, King of Dreams. It is right up there with it.
Well, we have to cover Charleston Heston's epic, The Ten Commandments.
Wouldn't that be more appropriate for like Easter?
That would be a two-parter because that movie is very long.
I mean, Christmas time, you should have Christmas theme.
Well, I always watch The Prince of Egypt. Regardless, I watch The Prince of Egypt and Ten Commandments the same time. I don't know. There's not a lot of Jesus movies. I mean, there is a classic miniseries with James Earl Jones called The Jesus of Nazareth, which to me is the best, one of the best Jesus. But that is like super long. That's like 6 hours long.
You remember, I watched that numerous times. And the actor who plays that, I don't know what it is about.
He never blinks in that film,
and his eyes penetrate you. Okay,
and
it was powerful.
Yeah.
But Christmas movies, you need like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's on the list, the original,
and of course the Peanut.
And the 31st, we were gonna start. Well, I wanted to start November, but Pacific made a fuss about songs and.
So what? Do it anyways.
Oh, here we go with people. I know some people that start now with Christmas, and I know some people that they don't even think about it up until the last moment. Like the last week, every decoration go. I'm kind of in between. Thanksgiving Day, the very next day, what you call Black Friday, that's normally when we do Christmas decorations and stuff.
We do it like a week or so before Thanksgiving. Both mom and dad and my grandmother.
But it's like Christmas shopping. I know a lot of people do it last minute. My Christmas shopping's done. I always get my Christmas shopping in the month of September, and I'm done.
My Christmas shopping always depends on when I get my Christmas bonus, which I'm not getting till the 17th this year.
No. I will gladly accept McDonald's coupons as a Christmas gift.
Shut up, Phil.
Or gift certificates.
Shut up, Phil.
Gift certificates.
Send a detachment to Riverwood at once.
Yes, my
Is Cash Money still alive? Is Cash Money still with us?
I think he is.
Sometimes.
But I think we're going to go ahead and shut the stream down here since I do work pretty early in the morning. So thanks, of course, to the three of you guys for hopping on with me. And of course, everyone watching right now, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And just remember, the Force is family.
It'll be another year before we get Skyrim.
Please. We'll see what happens.